Coming up on the left, the buildings built by the Guinness family, and then on the right hand side the social housing built about 20 years ago, and the circular discs depicting scenes from Gulliver's Travels.
Oh, there's the disc. Yeah, it is warm in there.
Now, although this is a Church of Ireland or a Protestant church, this is supported by everybody in Ireland. You know, we embrace all religions here. We have Roman Catholics, we have Protestants, we have Presbyterians, we have Methodists, we have Baptists, we have Jewish people, we have Muslim people, we have every religion we embrace. I want you to look here to your right, and you see up on the discs there, do you see it? See the discs? Yeah, they're little circular things, all depicting tales from Gulliver's Travels. Look, there's Gulliver on the right, yeah. Now I want to tell you something interesting here about these buildings on the left, built by the Guinness family. When I was growing up in Ireland, you know, if you had a job in the Guinness brewery, it was considered to be a great job, because you had a pensionable job, you had a job that you would be in for your life, and the Guinness family were very, very good employers, very good to their staff, and you know, it was considered a great thing if a family member got into work for Guinnesses. Now, you know, again, when I was growing up, we were always told that if you were run down or a bit sick, unwell, not feeling yourself, well, a small little maybe egg cup of Guinness was very good for you, because it was full of all these nutrients which they tell you about if you go to visit the Guinness brewery, and it's full of yeast, and so it was meant to build you up and give you great courage and strength. And there's a little rhyme that goes with that to demonstrate the courage and strength that you would get from drinking some Guinness. It goes like this: some Guinness spilt on the barroom floor as the bar was closing for the night, when out of a hole crept a very timid mouse, and he danced in the pale moonlight. Then he licked up some Guinness from the barroom floor, and back on his haunches he sat, and all night long you could hear him roar, "Bring on your goddamn cat." So now, that's the kind of courage and strength we're meant to get from drinking it. Now, we're going to take a right turn. The first thing you're going to see is Christ Church Cathedral. So down to the left you have St. Patrick's, which you can see down there, and up here to the right you have Christ Church Cathedral. Now, Christ Church Cathedral, of the two of them, St. Patrick's would be the more important one, although this one was born a little bit earlier. St. Patrick's, roughly between 1170 and 1220, depending on the history books, and this maybe, this was maybe 80 years older than that. So, you know, the original churches that stood on these sites would have been stone structures, and then of course latterly you had the wooden structures, I should say, but then latterly you had the stone structures. So the city wall, which we're going to see, Pat, we're going to take the turn to the city wall, runs alongside Christ Church Cathedral. Buried in Christ Church Cathedral, in the crypt you have the very first Norman that came into Ireland. The very first Norman that came into Ireland, he came in during the reign of Henry II of England. The Normans, of course, were French, and they came into England in 1066. There was a great big battle that took place, the Battle of Hastings. And when that battle took place, the English king, whose name was Harold, King Harold, he was defeated by William of Normandy, better known as William the Conqueror. So that's when the Normans came into England, but it was much later that they came into Ireland. Now, the other interesting thing is, as we go through the arch, down on the right hand side there's a little cobbled area, and that is where the Vikings settled. All of these different peoples that have come into Ireland over many, many centuries. So the Vikings came at the end of the 8th century. They came and they plundered the monasteries, and they took any goods they could possibly get their hands on, killed the monks. But then they left, and then they came back again at the beginning of the 9th century, and they settled, and they founded cities like this one, Dublin. If you see the cobbled area there, that's where there was a Viking settlement. Do you see it there on the right? Down in through the cobbles, you can see the markings there. So now we're going to let go left so I can show you the wall of the city. A little bit of it remaining here. All old towns and cities, you know, early on would have been walled, especially the Normans. The Normans were experts building in stone. So they would have built these walls in order to protect themselves from the native Irish or indeed from invaders. And so once you were inside the city walls, people felt safe. Once you were outside the city walls, you weren't as safe. So on your left coming up, this is part of the old city wall. You see the date of the entrance gate, one of many entrance gates that would have gone into it. So this has been restored, of course, because it would have been part of it. You can see where it was restored there. Say 1240 AD.
Wow.
So inside the city walls you were safe, outside the city walls you were less safe. So we're going to go down here, we're going to go down along the river. The river is the River Liffey. Most cities are built on rivers. The River Liffey divides the city in two. So we're on the south side of the city right now, and we'll be crossing over to the north side of the city. Well, we're stuck at the lights here. I want you to think about the two optional tours, because I have to kind of, you know, give them an idea how many of you would like to go.